Here on the Hard and Hustle, we love to have conversations with leaders that are just making impacts in our communities. Today we have Mr. Leon. Leon, what's up, man? How you doing? Can you tell people where you're from? What's the organization? What do you stand for?
Yeah, I can do all that. I'm from originally grew up in Detroit and Pittsburgh, but been living in Seattle for 40 years now, and I'm with Gencare Lifestyle. We're a senior living company that specializes in wellness. We call our program Whole Life Living, and we focus on food, exercise, mental fitness, and purpose. We're very proud of our organization and the unique things we've done or doing, such as the only senior living company in the nation that fully certified gluten-free. We're primarily here in the Northwest, and we're excited to be on your show.
No, I'm appreciated that you guys can join us in. Sorry that I'm not in my beautiful studio that you seen last time as I was traveling, but I didn't want to give up on you. I wasn't going to just reschedule you. Right off the plane, got here, and we're having this conversation. And, ever since I left talking to you, I tell everybody that's in this space, there's no one doing it like Leon. To know the different systems you put in place, the gluten-free, the workout, all these things that you understood could really extend someone's life. Where does that all come from, Leon?
Well, it just I've always been into awareness on fitness. I was a sprinter at the University of Michigan and did pretty well on that. But I noticed my performance was affected by the amount of sleep I had, my diet, um, and just my mental state. And that kind of carried over. I competed after college too. And so I was always aware of these things. And when I evolved in my business career to senior living, this awareness of physical and mental fitness just passed through and said, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention to these things. And you can age and be healthy. You just don't have to, slowly drift into the sunset, so to speak. You can still improve your health, mental health, and physical health. And I also compared this to going to summer camp as a kid. When I had a great experience. So anyhow, I'd get up with my cabin mates. We, fix our cabin up, socialize, go eat breakfast, and schmooze over that, and then we'd go out and we had free play, and we had fun, and it was you're outdoors with your buddies, and I figured this is analogous to when you're retired. Still want to go out, have fun, communicate with your buddies, you have food, you dine, you socialize. Why not still have fun when you're retired? And
Yeah.
and just because you're older doesn't mean you still don't like those things.
Bringing it back full circle. And
Yeah.
one cool thing you mentioned is that when people are working much harder as well, that it allows them to realize they have a voice, right? That's one of the things that you mentioned to me. It's like people work out, they feel so good, they now realize they have a voice. They're fighting for what's right. I think one thing you mentioned is something in the front of one of your locations. Was it a sidewalk or something that people were fighting for? Some of your patients or something like that?
My residents, yeah, they were very excited about the trainers and wanted to get in registered to have the one-on-one training as well as group training, and then they're just enthusiastic about participating in group events, um, both for the socialization and avoiding isolation and loneliness.
Mm.
And so all the activities we do are predicated upon being engaged. Humans are social animals. We live longer and better when we're socializing. It's proven that you live about 2.5 years longer when you're in a social environment and you're not isolated. And your health, doesn't deteriorate as quickly when you're in a group of a
Yeah.
community.
How many locations do you have now?
We have 6, but we're about ready to add a 7th and do some expansion. Here in the Northwest, we were very mindful in our growth, particularly during COVID. we didn't. There were a lot of challenges that we didn't want to struggle with, but now that that's pretty much gone, we're taking our product and gonna spread the gospel here in the Northwest.
I love it, man. I just love the model. Like I told you, I was actually praising you. You're probably hearing some of the conversations prior to you, praising some of the things that you're actually doing, Leon. But my whole thing is, are you an entrepreneur? That's what the background is? Like, what gets you into so many locations? You know, developing all these different thoughts. Like, you have to be a creative behind all this, an entrepreneur or something.
Yeah, I look at myself as an entrepreneur. Out of college, I got a job and learned some stuff, but then I went into buying some houses and apartments, fixing them up, selling them, and then I moved to Seattle, got another job, and then went to work for a development company, kind of learned the lay of the land, and then I started another company developing retail, some apartments, and then fell into senior housing, and then was approached by a large family company, wealthy local Seattle family, to start Merrill Gardens, which I was a founder and a partner in that. We did 27 buildings. I had to leave because I got custody of my kid and I was a single parent, so I just stayed local, and that's why I founded Gencare, once again in an entrepreneurial bent.
Yeah,
So I
man.
guess I'm an
You're on fire.
entrepreneur.
You are, man. You're on fire. And you talk about being a single father. You did mention that. What is that taught to you in life, of never giving up, of resilience? I can imagine there were some times that not always have been so easy for you.
Yeah, I agree, and I think you've experienced similar things, so you can
Hmm.
relate to what I'm saying. You just have to work out a work-life balance, and
Yep.
sometimes you put off work to take care of your family or your kid, and other times you have to adjust some schedules for the kid so you can earn a living and
Yeah.
support them. But it turns out I have a great relationship with my daughter, and I feel I made the right move. I maybe could have made more money, but my best product is my kid and her family.
And even now, like I'm in a hotel, in this room. I didn't even check in yet, and I was already feeling, I have a 1 year old and a 4 year old, almost feeling guilt, Leon. Leaving
Yeah.
the family behind, understanding I'm only here for a couple of days, understanding Daddy's got to go to work, my wife's a stay-at-home mom, and I just felt bad a little bit, man. Leon, do you have any advice for me, man? Like, should I be feeling
Yeah.
like this?
Well, just call them while you're away and tell them you love them, and they like that.
Yeah, yeah, no. I told my daughter, I call her every night. She says, "Dad, so I'm not going to see you for a couple of days. I'm calling you every night. You're going to still see me. I'm going to say goodnight because that's what I do every night at home. I'm usually the one to tuck her in and give her that, play with her a little bit before she really goes to bed. But no, man, I love that you were able to do all this while still being a single father. So many people would actually quit, right? But you decided, no, I'm just going to pivot. Where do you get all this grit, resilience from? Is this something that was just kind of embedded in you as a young kid? You had to learn this trial and error. Like, where does it all come from?
Well, I that's a good question. It's just I figured I got to do what I got to do. Life's good. You just, like you said, pivot and adapt. And I'm a happy guy, and I don't, the glass is always half full, not half empty,
I love
and
that.
just stay positive.
What are three leadership skills that you continue to pour into others that maybe were poured into you and you just want to continue to give back?
Well, first of all, the most important thing in life and business is people.
Yep.
I can't do anything, be successful or achieve my goals unless I have the right people around me. And I had to learn that. It isn't all
Yep.
me, it's the people you have around it and the quality of the people and the commitment to what you're doing, and they believe in it. And
Okay.
always nurturing and reinforcing them, and they have reinforced me too. So that's people are the most important product. Um, Trying to stay current in ideas and what generational iterations are going through, so you can adapt and meet those needs. And then third, just trying to be forthright and honest with what I do, whether it's good or bad, is just be upfront.
Is there any leadership skill you had to learn the hard way?
Yeah, how to relate to people, and when to push buttons and when not to, and just the best way to relate to people, and understanding each individual's personality and
Yep.
what makes them tick.
I can relate to all of them. I think as leaders, those are one of the biggest things is really finding people. I always like to call it dating. Not everyone you're going to hire or bring to your team is going to be the forever. They may be there for a season or for a reason, but understanding when it's time to let them go. And I think a lot of leaders sometimes forget how to let people go. And understanding, for rightfully so, sometimes if we want to grow, we got to let those people go, whether it's our friends, sometimes employees, sometimes partners. I've been an entrepreneur just like yourself and had to walk away from partners, right? Had to close establishments, sometimes family. You know, it's just the sacrifice that we got to really make. But I love that you've never allowed it to stop you, man. Look what you've really been doing, and you're still growing. What a blessing it is. And is there anything on the horizon when we think about AI where we can actually implement AI into what you're already doing? Have you guys tapped into that? Are you guys looking into that space?
Yeah, we're looking into AI now, particularly on the websites when people are searching for places to live. We're starting to use AI to communicate with them when they go on the website or the search. Ultimately, they come in the building and see a real person. But
Yeah.
to answer questions, we're using AI, and we're also starting to use AI for analytics because it can gather data real fast and and give you feedback quickly in a very coherent fashion. Um, that's how we're using AI. And then programmatically, we're focusing a lot now on uh, some cancer survivors.
Okay.
On, um, for example, women, 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer, and half the women who get breast cancer are 65 and older, which is our age cohort. So they'll have some procedures. So what we're doing is looking at how to post surgery, how to help women recover, because a lot of times with surgery they get scar tissue, which is affects their posture, affects their shoulder mobility, and it can be painful and constrictive. So what we're doing is working with our trainers to develop stretching and strengthening exercises to help people recover. And actually, 1% of the male population has gets breast cancer too. So we have a few men who suffer from the same issues. So we're always trying to be creative and adaptive, think of new ways to help people stay healthy and relieve pain and keep their mobility.
If the Heart and Hustle podcast has ever sparked any idea or made you think differently, do us a favor. Make sure you guys share this, post it on LinkedIn, or even text that nonprofit friend that you just have. Whatever works, this is what keeps the conversation going and allows us to just grow this community together. Seriously, we appreciate you. I'm very fascinated to know that you guys are using AI as much as you are. A lot of leaders are afraid of it. I think it's like the internet boom. I think it's like the social media boom. When did you realize that AI was actually as impactful as it is? Because it seems like you're putting it in so many different places that are really needed, where people can still do what they love, but we can delegate some of the automations and the things that we don't like so we can do more of the things that we went to school for, that we feel that brings us peace and fills our cup. Where do you get into this AI space? Who's teaching you this? Or did you just realize there was a wave here and I got to ride it?
Well, I think as the wave, I got to ride it. I went to several conferences and they're all talking about AI. And they said, well, if you aren't starting AI or involved in AI now, you're behind.
Yeah.
So I had to start running to catch up. So we,
I love it.
we started implementing it over the last 6 months, and we'll continue to use it as things evolve. We're actually looking at some additional marketing tools that use AI bot or a
Hmm.
human replication on a
Yep, yep.
video that talks to the individual that's inquiring, and it's pretty amazing stuff.
Leon, man, I'm excited to hear that. You don't know how many people I speak to, and there was like, AI. Older people can't use AI, or AI is they're scared of it. All these different things I hear, man. But to know where you're at, and if you had to rate it 1 out of 10, what is your grade? You've experienced a little bit of it at least.
Well, I think it's being accepted more and more. We haven't been, as far as we know, we haven't been kicked off from anybody looking at our site because we're using AI. I
Yeah,
think it's becoming more accepted, and the senior population is realizing they have to adapt to it. And a lot of
yeah.
times, also the family member, which is a younger person, in their 40s and 50s, are the initiators, and they're very open to using it and adapting to it.
What do you think it's going to happen with a shortage of, especially in that home care living, where there's a shortage, right? We're going through a silver tsunami. Are you guys preparing for that? Is it something that you guys are even afraid of, or are you figuring it out as we go? Are you pivoting? This is why we have AI. Is that why the new buildings are coming up? Like, what is your thoughts on this whole silver tsunami that's happening with the shortage of everything?
Well, I think the artificial intelligence is going to be more used in monitoring people and whether they have fall risk or there's something happened in their apartment that needs attention from a live person. Um, the AI would be able to talk to a person, see, it notices if you haven't been active for a period of time and saying, Miss Jones, are you okay? And either they'll respond and say, I need help, and we'll send a live person up there. Or if they don't respond, then the AI will alert um, a live staff person to go check on them. And it's become a vehicle to be more responsive to needs if someone that falls or has an incident in their room without being invasive, meaning
Hmm.
compromise of privacy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something that helps the shortage of staffing, because before, staff person had to physically check on a room all the time, and that was kind of a hit and miss process. Whereas the sensors on an AI and the communication, the talking that an AI can do and respond to, just give a broader coverage of any potential negative incidents or even positive that happened to a resident.
And with your experience on AI, what do you tell other leaders that are afraid of using it or scared that for privacy or because you're losing the human centric feel? What is your words to those individuals that are still skeptical?
Well, I say, you better get on board because it's not going away. It's
Yeah, better
becoming
catch up,
more,
right?
yeah, better run, catch up, or get out of the way, right? So,
No, man, I truly love it. Do you have a story that really resonates with you that reminds you of why you do what you do? Like creating these centers, creating them, understanding the health and wellness piece, because a lot of people don't even think that far. Is there a story that comes to you like, man, I'm happy that this is the model that we went with?
yeah, I mean, there's several stories. We have one, I'll be brief so as not to bore people, but we had this woman move in one of our buildings, and she was overweight, she was diabetic, and she had just had some surgery for cancer. And she moved into our building, embraced our diet, embraced our exercise program, and she lost a bunch of weight because she was using our dietary options. She became non diabetic. She was part of our walking club, so she built up her strength and endurance. She could only walk maybe a quarter mile at first, but now she's walking 3 to 5 miles a day, and
Wow.
she's on our website, and she even quotes saying, "If I hadn't moved in here, I'd be with the angels right now." And then we had another incident where we specialize in some Parkinson's. Um, people. And woman moved in. Her goal was to walk again. She was wheelchair bound. We put her on a fitness program with our trainers. She started walking in a pool, riding a stationary bike. She graduated to a walker and then to a cane. And then she was able to walk about 100 feet on her own, which just thrilled her. Can't cure the disease, but we can certainly stop its progression and keep people moving and have hope.
Leon, how cool to hear those stories, man, and know that you've created something that people are experiencing change in their lives, right? Planting seeds all around the place. Wow, you can't physically see every single person. You know that you have great people. You have great facilities. I ask you, man. You talked about working out. What are you benching nowadays?
Well, you're gonna embarrass me now, but I'm I've never been a big heavyweight guy. I'm not that big a guy, but you know, I lift weights. I could probably bench 90 pounds, and
Hey, man, just some people don't do nothing, Leon.
yeah,
People don't do
yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
man, at your age to still see you, benching and just active. I think for
yeah, I
me,
think that's it.
I am starting. I've kind of always been an on and off in my life. I'm not no big guy either, but realizing that I'm 35 years old, I got kids, I got to chase these kids around. So I started working out, man. But kind of to what you mentioned, I did see the change, and I've always seen the change when you start working out, how it really
Yeah,
helps the mental health. And that's one of the things I really love about working out. It truly changes the mental health. So people that want to change, start there. Start just doing something uncomfortable. And it is just waking up in the morning, taking that walk. Sometimes maybe one lap around the neighborhood becomes 2 laps, becomes 3 laps, and you're seeing with your own individuals, those own patients that are, changing their lives because of what you're
yeah.
doing. Where are the locations located? We didn't talk about locations. Where are you all located?
We're all located specifically in the Seattle metropolitan area. Far south is Tacoma, and some locations between Seattle, some cities between Seattle and Tacoma, and then we go all the way up to the north to Everett. So we're on the Interstate 5 corridor. I can drive to any of my buildings within an hour and keep an eye on things. And actually, staff and residents like to see me in the building, and because they know I'm caring. I'm not just that I care, and I'm not just some guy sitting in an office with a coat and tie. So
Yeah, yeah. So you're still hands on.
yeah, I'm still hands on. Like to see and touch the buildings, make sure the energy's good, people are happy. We're staying true to the mission and commitments that we've made, and always got to remind people. We have a saying in the company called "Repeat the beat," because we got to keep reminding each other what we're here for, and also staff change from time to time, whether they're growing and moving somewhere else or whether they have to move on. So you always have new people coming in as well, and you got to train them and teach them the philosophy.
And are you getting the kids involved? Kids one day taking over the company, or are they just still figuring out life out there, trying to find what they love to do first?
Well, kids are not going to take over the company, so I have a succession plan in place, and I have some very committed people that will carry on the what we
The
started.
legacy. Yeah, 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 man. The legacy will continue. And is your plan to expand nationwide or just more on the West
No,
Coast?
I personally think it's a regional business. My expansion plans are in Washington State, Oregon, and Idaho, and keep it
Hmm.
regional. Um, there's preferences every region. It's also a control. I want to maintain the quality of our product, and if you get too big, in my mind, you lose the energy and control that you want to have in your buildings and
Yeah.
this whole life living. And my goal was never to be the biggest guy, have a certain volume, of course, because economy of scale, but I don't want to lose direction on what we're providing.
And rightfully so. I am a big believer. I used to work for a franchise. They had 140 stores. I was with them when they had 80 stores. and felt mom and pop at 80, but I felt like the more they continued to grow, they lost that mom and pop. It became very corporate.
Yeah.
Now the owner, that you've seen all the time, he was too far in reach. Now, you had to go speak to somebody else to even get to him, and it does. It definitely changes the whole thing, the whole business model, because someone else is running the show and they're implementing their values. So I love that you said, no, I want to own this and just make sure we continue to live those values. Very important. When companies live their values, it is very, very important, because when you don't just want to talk about them, you actually want to make sure that you're actually living by them. And it looks like you guys not just talk about it, but you live by them. I ask you, Leon, last question here. If you can kind of go back in time, speak to that young Leon that's just kind of getting started into the business world, what is your advice to that young Leon?
Well, once again, go back and find the right people. Learn it earlier. It took me a while, and I had some experiences that were learning experiences, and I
Yeah.
wish I would have understood that earlier rather than just focus on being technically correct and technically accurate. Because even though that's important, you can't be successful unless you have the right
Yeah.
people. And life would have been a little easier if I had known that or learned it earlier.
I'm a big firm believer, though, Leon. I'm pretty sure you are as well. That we have to learn these things, though, man, to be where we're at today, right? Like those L's, they're not losses; they're lessons in our lives. And in that moment, we don't get it, But I'm so thankful for seeing that partnerships didn't work out.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for having to close down my first, cafe downtown Orlando. And the moment I wasn't, okay? At the moment, I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to do this. But realizing how far I've come, all these years later. But no, it is a good one. It is surroundings of people. Even now, 35 years old, maybe I would say a year and a half ago, I had to learn that too, that those friends that I was talking to on every single day, sometimes unintentionally they're kind of dimming your light and making it seem like there's no way you can do that, or oh, how's your small business doing, right? And it's like, come on, man, speak some life into what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
respectfully, so you definitely got to cut those people off. I love that, man. Where can people find more of you, Leon? More of the organization? Where are you guys located? Are you on LinkedIn if people want to tap into you?
Yeah, we are LinkedIn. We're on, Facebook. We're on our own website. We post on X as well, and we use all the social media. And I just want to make one other comment based
Go ahead.
on learning. Um, it's interesting. I remember my mistakes more than my successes.
Yes.
They seem to stick in my mind, and that's what I really learned from and what resonates for me. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know
I, I
about
give
you.
I give you one. Yeah, I give you one actually that just happened recently. So in the same hotel that I'm in, I was here 2 weeks ago, and I've always had this dream. I'm a wrestling nerd. I might have told you that last time we spoke. I'm a wrestling nerd, love wrestling. And 2 years ago, when I decided to just really come out the wrestling closet and start a wrestling community, I was going streaming, building a brand around it. I said one day I want to interview wrestlers. So on a
Hmm.
Sunday night, I get a call to be in Boston, which is where I'm located now, to be in Boston within 2 days. So I buy all this equipment, right? Because I have an at-home studio, but when it comes to mobile, I didn't have everything. So I'm
Right.
buying all this. I get into Boston on a Tuesday night, no hotel booked, Leon. Get to my hotel. I take all the stuff out the box that I bought brand new, that I'm having to test the night before. I set up for the interview the day after, really excited. And what happens was that at the highest of my highs, I hit that low because I have a standard and my audio wasn't recorded the way that I wanted to. So even though we had the audio, it wasn't to standard of what I expect of myself. So the next day, I'm broken. I feel this like knot in my chest, man. I feel like a failure. I felt like, oh my God, this one chance. But mind you, before I even left the building, the God loved that I came with cameras and mics. And even though I couldn't set up because I just rushed here today, but with cameras and mics and all these different things. And he already gave me an opportunity to come and do today before I ever left. Why? Because the way that we showed up. But that failure, right? It was a rookie mistake, but it was a failure I'll never make. But I learned from it. And sometimes we have to make those those mistakes because we
Yeah.
learn from them,
Yeah.
right? That's how we become better versions of ourselves. Not only that, but we get to pass on as well to others. Like, hey, don't do this because I remember when I did this.
Yeah.
We're now,
Yeah.
as leaders, we're educators as well, right? We got to continue to educate the next generation. So all these things that happened to us when we failed, we remember them eh, because we are who we are because of those mistakes, because of those losses. So no, that was really good, man. I love that you actually brought that up. Because we all experience it, and so many times, and that's one of the things I had to pray, that moment, but realizing, look how far I've gotten. I'm gonna let this one moment hold me back, you know, and had to remember that it was a lesson. We're not
Yes.
gonna make that rookie mistake again. So I love that you mentioned that, Leon. I can only imagine you had a lot of those as well, huh?
Yeah, I got a lot of scars. I got a lot of scars.
Hey, that's why entrepreneurship is not for the weak. I always say
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is not for the weak. You gotta have tough skin. Well, Leon, we thank you so much, man, for this conversation. Sorry that couldn't be in the studio, but hopefully we get to do this again in the studio with a better camera. I can't stand this. This is why I got to get good cameras. I should have used my phone like you. Even your phone has a better camera than this laptop. Look at that. Leon, I
Well, I
appreciate you. My
really
name is,
appreciate you having me on your podcast,
yes,
and I really enjoyed meeting and chatting with you. And the
same here,
best,
brother. My name is
the best.
Efrain. This is Leon. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace out.